Today, I want to share with you an incredible discovery made by a prince 2,500 years ago about human suffering. This answer is so simple that your first reaction might be, wait, that's it? But when you truly understand this answer, it might completely change how you see your life. Let me start with a question. Are you currently struggling with something? Maybe it's money, relationships, anxiety about the future, or health concerns. Perhaps you're dealing with some inexplicable, vague sense of unease. Here's the thing: all of these worries and sufferings share a common root cause. The person who first discovered this was Buddha. Buddha's real name was Siddhartha Gautama, and he was an Indian prince who lived about 2,500 years ago. Prince Siddhartha lived a life of luxury. He had a beautiful wife, a lovely son, and never had to worry about money. But he was troubled by a deep question: why do human beings suffer? At the age of 29, the prince left his palace and saw the real world for the first time. What he witnessed was people suffering from illness, growing weak with age, and dying. This experience is called the Four Sights. The prince realized something profound: no matter how much wealth or status someone has, humans grow old, get sick, and eventually die. Is there no way to escape this suffering? So he gave up everything and embarked on a spiritual journey. For 6 years, he practiced extreme fasting and severe asceticism. But he couldn't find the answer. When he was near death, a young girl offered him rice pudding. And he had an epiphany: neither extreme suffering nor extreme pleasure is the answer. Then, sitting under the Bodhi tree in meditation, he finally achieved enlightenment. The answer he discovered that day is what I'm going to share with you today. Buddha's discovery is known as the Four Noble Truths. This answer is incredibly simple, yet profoundly deep. The first truth is called dukkha, life is suffering. But this doesn't mean life is nothing but misery. Even when we experience joy, it doesn't last forever. Therefore, suffering inevitably arises. For example, imagine you're eating your favorite ice cream. The first bite is delicious. But as you continue eating, you gradually lose interest. And when you finish, you might feel, I want more, or experience a sense of emptiness because it's gone. In other words, even pleasurable experiences, while good in the moment, ultimately generate suffering through our desires for more, our fear of losing it, or our sadness that it's over. Let's consider this with a contemporary example. There's a man named John who works at a company. John is working hard to get promoted, but he keeps getting passed over. He suffers, thinking, why am I the only one not getting recognized? Then finally, John gets his promotion. He's overjoyed, but this joy doesn't last long. Soon, new anxieties emerge. I want to climb even higher. I don't want to lose this position. What if my juniors surpass me? This is what Buddha meant by life is suffering. The more we pursue happiness, the more new forms of suffering arise. The second truth is samudaya, what causes suffering. Buddha's answer was surprisingly simple: tanha, meaning craving or attachment, is the root of all suffering. We are constantly seeking something. I want this. I want to be that. I don't want to lose this. This endless craving creates our suffering. For instance, when you're scrolling through social media and see your friends' happy photos, don't you sometimes think, I want to have experiences like that? Or, why is my life so boring? This is also a form of craving. The desire for a better life, through comparison with others, generates suffering. The third truth is nirodha, suffering can be ended. This is a beacon of hope. Buddha said, if we let go of the cravings and attachments that cause suffering, suffering will cease. This state is called nirvana. Nirvana is a state of liberation from all suffering. But this doesn't mean feeling nothing. Rather, it's a state of true peace and freedom. The fourth truth is magga, the method to end suffering. Buddha outlined the Noble Eightfold Path, 8 correct ways of living. Today, I want to focus on 3 particularly important points. First is right view, seeing things as they truly are. For example, when it rains, instead of thinking, "This is annoying, my laundry won't dry," simply accept the fact that it is raining. Second is right conduct, not harming others, not lying, not stealing, basically living an ethical life. Third is right meditation, calming the mind and observing your inner state. Let's consider the example of a woman named Sarah. Sarah was always concerned about what others thought of her. What does that person think of me? I want more recognition. What if they don't like me? This attachment was making her suffer. But after learning Buddha's teachings, Sarah realized, my attachment to others' opinions was the source of my suffering. So Sarah started meditating for 10 minutes every day. She observed her mind, simply noticing, right now, I'm seeking others' approval, right now, I'm feeling anxious. Amazingly, as she continued this practice, Sarah became much less affected by others' opinions. She began to think, what others think is their business. I should just live authentically as myself. Let me clear up an important misconception here. Buddha's teaching doesn't mean, don't have any desires, or don't seek anything. For example, when you're hungry, it's natural to seek food. The problem is becoming attached to that desire. It has to be this specific dish, I want something more delicious. Why can I only eat this while others eat better? These attachments create suffering. But if you approach natural desires like, I'm hungry, so I'll eat something, with an attitude of, I'll gratefully eat what's available, no suffering arises. So how can we apply this teaching to our daily lives? First, develop the habit of observing your mind. Ask yourself, what am I seeking right now? What am I attached to right now? For example, when your train is delayed and you find yourself getting irritated, thinking, why is it late? Recognize that, right now, I'm attached to the train arriving on time. Then shift your thinking, the train being late is beyond my control. Getting irritated won't change the situation. What I can do is use this time effectively. There's a man named Mike, who found his daily commute on the crowded subway unbearable. He was constantly irritated by the pushing and shoving. But after learning Buddha's teachings, Mike changed his perspective. I hate the crowded train, but this is reality. Instead of resisting this reality, I'll accept it. He started meditating on the train, focusing on his breathing and concentrating on this moment, right now. Remarkably, even though it was the same crowded train, Mike's suffering was greatly reduced. Buddha's answer was truly simple. The cause of suffering lies in our desires and attachments. If we let go of them, suffering disappears. But within this simple answer lies profound wisdom. We tend to seek a perfect life, but no such thing exists. What matters is accepting our current reality and letting go of our attachments. This isn't something you can master in a day. But if you practice it gradually, you'll definitely find your mind becoming lighter and you'll achieve true peace. Why are Buddha's teachings from 2,500 years ago still so valuable to us living in the modern world? It's because the fundamental structure of human suffering remains unchanged, regardless of the era. I encourage you to start practicing today. Observe your mind, notice your attachments, and gradually let them go. I'm confident that your life will become easier and richer. If today's video was helpful to you, please hit that like button. And if you know someone who might benefit from this wisdom, please share this video with them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.